Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Final Stallions. We have a kick-ass guest today, and as you can see, we are in Spruce Studios in a whole different location. We even have Club live with me for the first time. It's huge. But as I said, we have a kick-ass guest, Mr. Matt Moody, Cleveland-born and LA-based singer-songwriter in the house.
Thanks, y'all.
And just right now we went to the same grade school. So
we did. St. Bernadette's. Shout out.
Go Bulldogs.
Never thought I'd say that on a podcast.
Well, it's how we're starting this off. And honestly, it's not the first time we've talked about the grade school bonding here on Final Stallions. So best way to kick it off. So yeah, as I said, you are Cleveland born, now posted up in LA.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been out there for?
I've been in LA for about a year and some change, a year and like 3 months, something like that. Yep.
Very nice.
So yeah, not so long.
No, so it was a very recent. What attracted you to move out there besides the sun always?
Well, let me tell you, the sun always not all it's cracked up to be. But what really got me out there was, so like the first time I was there was maybe like 4 years ago. I went with a buddy who lives in Vegas. I flew into Vegas. We drove out there, just the two of us, and we were there for like 2 nights. We slept in our car. And we were just like, we want to go to LA. We want to see what it's all about. I think the first place we stopped was Santa Monica. And, you know, you stop in the Palisades Park and you're looking over the ocean there. And this, I don't know, for me, it was like this feeling really hit me of like, oh shit, like I got to be here. You know, like, I got to be here. It was just one of those, like, as soon as I was there, I was like, I want to move here. And then I started obsessing about it after I came back here, and then, you know, slowly but surely, like, figured out all the logistics of moving and all that, and it, you know, eventually happened. So yeah, it was more than anything, it was just like this, like, overwhelming, like, you know, I could stay in Cleveland forever, but also like I want to explore a little more to life, and I've always wanted to live on the West Coast and be in the mountains and be near the ocean and all that. So
well, you're preaching everything that's going through my mind right now, because I've never left Ohio in my life, and guess what? It's not going anywhere.
It's not
so Cleveland will still be here if you ever want to move back.
Yeah. And or just come back for, let's say, I don't know, an album release show happening at the Coda this coming Friday. This Friday. Well, you know what? This may come a little bit after. So do you have any words of wisdom that you want to speak to yourself in the future post the show?
To my future self, I'm glad you saw it through.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, so Matt came back into town in Cleveland, has a show at Coda for his album release. And, oh, man, it fell down. I was hoping this was still standing. But your new album, Still a Kid in a Painting Sky, released in June of this year. And, man, this album hits different. Is all I have to say. But
it's different. Yeah.
It really does. Like, you know, craft that went into this, and simply just, again, from listening is incredible. The thought, and I know you had a bunch of different artists working on it, but
for sure,
take us back. We just mentioned a tune. I think it was Driftin that you said you've had for how long?
No, that was Graveyard. Graveyard's a really old tune. I co-wrote it with my friend Cass Hunter in Nashville, like, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, something like that. It was literally like one of the first co-writing sessions I ever had in Nashville. Had never met this lady. She's like 30 years older than me. And just like instantly, we came to the writing session, and I had like this riff, right? Essentially, it was like these 3 chords, and I was like, what do you think of this? And I think she wrote all of the lyrics in like 30 minutes, and I sang the melody down. And it was just one of those serendipitous, like, you never know when you get into a co-writing session, you never know like what it's going to turn out to be. The chemistry could just like hit like that instantly, or it could just go absolutely nowhere, you know? And it was one of those just lucky things. The first time I'd met Cass, we kind of just like bonded, even though like I was 18 and like shy and like really awkward at the time, and she was like in her 40s. It kind of just like musically, it kind of just worked, and then we've been friends and have been co-writing ever since. So even through Zoom, through the pandemic and all that. So every time I'm in Nashville, you know, we hang out. So
very cool.
But yeah, that song, Cass wrote the lyrics on that one. So yeah,
nice.
If you're looking for the breakup explanation, she might have.
We'll have to check in with Cass.
Yeah.
So just in general, I guess on that album, what are some of the influences, inspirations, or just, I guess, prevailing themes that you put into the album?
I think more than anything, the prevailing theme is this life is short. We're gonna die.
Facts.
We're all going to die. And you kind of got to go after what you think about day in and day out. And if you don't, you're going to wake up one day and be 50, 60 something and be like, well, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I do? You know, I didn't do the things I thought I was going to do. So more than anything, I'm a dreamer, right? And Still a Kid in the Painted Sky is just being that dreamer, seeing the vision you want in that life and going after it, even if it means it might destroy you at some point, you know? So,
it's better than the regret that you'll have.
Absolutely.
Like you just said, sitting back at 50 years old being like, what the fuck did I actually do with my time here on this rock?
Better to nearly die trying than to like not do it at all. So,
dude, absolutely. And I mean, you can see it, I don't know, throughout your album, like Putting Off, Shadows, gives it from the perspective of the person who didn't do it and just thinks it's all going to be manifested and handed to them and look at life very leisurely. And it sucks because I just feel like I've been in some sort of rut recently, and it's best I figured to like own those and just like power through, because as all life is, it's ups and downs. But when I was listening earlier today, just Putting Off, I'm like, fuck, I have a lot of things that I'm putting off right now and I need to get shit in order.
Don't we all?
Yeah, but it's best to be able to like at least for me, like say it out loud, own it. You were able to transform it into a song and into something meaningful that it will always be there.
Yeah, that song was one of those things that kind of just like slipped right out of me. I don't play keyboards, but I just sat down at a keyboard one day, and I'm only playing white keys. Like I can't do anything on a keyboard really.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But it was just one of those things that like, you know, it happened in like 30 minutes and it was like, oh, this track kind of like sums it all up. You know, that track essentially gave me the concept for the album itself, which is like, I have a vision of like the life I want to live and I'm not doing anything about it, you know, and here's the song. So
let's touch back. So we said the Graveyard was built 8 years ago. So just explain, how you kind of took the steps forward to getting these things recorded. Like what was your thought process when you're like, all right, I'm going to make an album and we're going to make this thing happen here?
It kind of all starts with, so like I'm always constantly writing songs like on my own in my room by myself, getting high, like just kind of getting in the feels of it, you know?
Absolutely.
And at a certain point, it's like, okay, well, I have to like do something with these songs. And like a lot of these songs were written in like 2019, a couple in 2020. And it started just, it kind of breeds a life of its own, honestly. Like the more songs you write at a certain period of your life, you start to realize like, this is like a story of my life. This is a snapshot of like this era of my life. And at a certain point, I don't know exactly what that was. At a certain point, it all just kind of clicked. Like I had maybe 9 or 10 songs. And it's like, these all make sense together. They've got a similar feel. They've got a similar theme. And you know, the further I went down that road, like I demoed all of it at first, and then it was like, okay, like what's the concept here? I came up with like a few different like album title like concepts. The first one was like Waiting on the Sun to Set or something like that. And, you know, eventually it refines itself. It wants to be its own living being. It wants to be its own entity. And I think just the more attention you give to it, the more nuance it will have. So it's like, I don't know, I can't give you that like aha moment.
Like,
I mean, other than like maybe being like stoned in my apartment in Lakewood at like 4 a.m. one night, and I wrote Crashing in the Ocean, and it was just like, oh, like there's like really something here. Like I need to record this and
Yes.
like I need to do this, you know, otherwise I'll regret not doing it.
That's a hell of a song. Like that was one of the songs that I wrote down about just being like the word I kept finding myself using was captivating. It was very powerful. So I could see that being the one where you were like, it's time to like get these things down.
Yeah.
Like I have a great collection of tunes here and the world needs them. So
yeah. Yeah, I wrote that song at 4 a.m. stoned out of my mind. And that's like, you know, when you're writing late at night like that, there's something about it too, where like the veil just falls and what you're really feeling, the truth of what's inside you kind of just comes out. And so that's kind of where that song came from. So.
Are there any other songs that you're just like super fond of, or like, I guess, yeah, give us, if there's more that you would put in that upper tier, you can do more, but give us your top 3 off the album.
My top 3, my favorites. Putting It Off for sure.
Okay.
Putting It Off is up there. Miller Lite. That song means a lot to me, and I co-wrote it with one of my best friends, Hannah Stack. I don't know if you met Hannah Stack before.
So it's funny. I played in a band. We only played like 8 shows back in 2019 under Tomo alone.
Yep.
And we opened at the Grog Shop, and Hannah Stack was on the bill. Just her and her acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible performance. And I've probably seen her like out and about at like bars, open mic nights, or stuff like that. But so that was my first time seeing her. And yeah, when I saw her name on your album, I was like, hell yeah. So you guys have been friends for a while?
Oh yeah. I think the first time we met, it was like at the symposium at an open.
Yeah, I played there as well. What a place.
What a place.
That place is crazy.
What a fucking place.
Yeah, that song, it sounds like, honestly, like you two were just like hanging out drinking, and then you picked up the guitar and were like, I can like make some vibes to this.
That's essentially what it was. We just got together one afternoon, I think, and I don't know, it was like a Saturday. We were just chilling. And we were like, let's write a song together. And, you know, we kind of like got into conversation of like, well, what are we going to write about? You know, I had some like chord ideas and that sort of thing. And then, you know, you just like get to talking. And I think she started talking about like someone she knew had died. And she overheard someone at a funeral say, when I die, give me a Miller Lite. And I was like, that's the opening line of the song. I don't know what it's about yet, but that is the opening line.
Damn.
So that's kind of where it started.
That's great.
But yeah, that song just means a lot to me because, you know, Hannah's a close friend of mine. And we kind of wrote it from the perspective of like, if our dads were singing us a song and giving us life advice, that's kind of the life advice they would give us is, you know, don't take it too seriously and just do what feels right at the end of the day.
Nice.
So,
Very cool.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you got a music video coming out for Miller Lite here.
yeah, it's dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Nice.
So yeah, that's like the last installment of like content for this album. So,
All right.
you know, it's been a long journey of just like dropping singles, dropping videos, drop the album, have the show, and then Miller Lite's going to be the little,
That's awesome, man.
thumbtack on the end there.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, hey, maybe, you know, someday NFL commercial break, well, all of a sudden we'll see a Miller Lite commercial.
That's-
Miller Lite by Mad Moody.
That's honestly the hope. I'm trying to garner enough attention from the Miller Brewing Company to be like, hey, we should work together.
I'm your guy.
Unfortunately, I'm drinking a Coors right now.
Yeah. It's a Miller, I swear. It's hilarious. Yeah. Any more that you're more fond of?
Yeah, let me think.
What'd you say?
Let me
tier,
look at-
like tier 1.
Let me look at the
Cheers.
song.
Yeah, take a
list.
gander.
If there's another one on tier 1, it's gonna be I Don't Mind for me
Yeah.
as well. Just because it's kind of like
I got you.
the attitude of like, man, there's so many things that just aren't fair in this life, and there's so many like things you can't control. There's so many things out of your control that at a certain point you just kind of like have to accept like what's coming at you left and right is not of your own doing, and all you can really do is just react to it. And I think a lot of the times the best reaction is just, you know, letting it like roll off. So I don't know. It kind of takes the feelings of like jealousy or like you're wasting time, you're losing time, and it kind of transforms it into like, you know, it's really all right. Like whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing your best, that's all it really matters.
Absolutely. So I love the credentials is one of my favorite parts of like owning a piece of music, and you have a handful of people that were on this album.
Oh yeah.
How'd you gather this crew? Like did you I guess like know who you want like going in, or were you like, you know what, I've heard of this person introduced me to this person?
I kind of knew who I wanted from the get-go. So like Lee Kolaric, who played drums, and Todd Marshall and Mike Abadini, we had all been playing together as a band like live before the pandemic and all that. You know, and by the way, this whole thing was recording like during 2020. So
Okay.
So like it was just kind of like an obvious, like, you know, these are my dudes. So
Yeah.
they're going to be that core like rhythm section. And then Ray, I've like always kind of collaborated with and had him on like live shows and some other recordings here and there.
He's an incredible Cleveland artist as well. Ray Flanagan. I know a couple people have talked about him.
Yeah, and like his intuition with like songs and knowing what to play is just like it's next level. Like every time I ask him to do something, to collaborate, like it's just like do your thing and he'll send it back to me, and it's just like that's it. I don't need to I have zero input for you. And then Jacob Wynn and David Casper. I had known Jacob Wynn because I had gigged with him a couple times, and just some like going out around the scene. I had never met David, but they kind of work in tandem as like a horn parts, sort of like they do like sessions out of their house and like fly tracks to people and stuff.
That's a very cool concept.
Yeah, and Jacob's just like an amazing trumpet player. So again, it was like that situation where I just like, you know, I was like, just do your thing, send it back, and we'll go from there. And they sent me their takes and what they had written out for the horn parts. And I was like, this is amazing. I have no notes for you. Like, you know, that's just it. And then Megan Sullivan, she's amazing. And then who else am I missing anyone?
Yeah, the horns definitely add like an extra
Hannah on
layer.
there. Yeah, I mean, everyone who contributed, it was just like kind of like an obvious like, oh man, like I know these people, like they just always produce great stuff.
Well, all right, then let's stop on the producer real quick.
And then, okay, so I produced it actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so the production was me, the arranging was me, but Jim Stewart was like my right-hand man in recording the drums, recording the grand piano, recording the guitars, and then he would fly me the stems, and I would like kind of produce, tweak stuff, move stuff around. I recorded the vocals in Park City. I recorded some parts at my home studio at home. We did all the bass at home. And then Jim Stewart mixed it. So he like, as far as like getting sounds and like sonics and that sort of thing, he was my right-hand man. And then
is he at Superior Sounds?
He's no longer at Superior Sounds. He's actually at 73rd Street, which is, you know, just right over there. So he just moved. I know he got like a new mixing room, and he's like cutting drums over there and stuff. So.
Very cool. No, that is a name I've heard very fond things of in the Cleveland scene in regards to
he's the man.
Producing, mixing. So.
He's the man for sure.
Very nice.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stew.
Jimmy Stew. Where was this picture taken?
That picture was taken on Santa Monica Beach in Los Angeles.
That's fucking beautiful.
Yep.
So
taken by Nina Ripich, did all the artwork and the design. She also happens to be my girlfriend, and she's very talented. So it's nice to have that, like, you know, because like we can get home from work and be like, it doesn't have to be over email or something. Like, say, hey, could you do this for me? And she just, you know.
That's incredible.
She's so incredible. She did all the photography, the design, the graphic design, the videos, you know, like you name it, she did it. Really? As far as visuals go. Yeah.
Very cool. So, no, like we were just talking about how just man, like just your brand, like from all the way down to the font you use to the way your website's set up. It's all just very well set up. And
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something I wanted to get into. So your website is very well put together.
Thank you.
And like, I guess, because I don't think a lot of people understand this. Just give us a little look into like what all it takes to like design and maintain a website like on that level.
So actually I've designed the website. So like all the visuals for it, like my logo, the photos you see on the website, that was done by Nina.
Okay.
But as far as like the layout and the way it operates, I've been doing that for like 10 years. So like if you looked at my website, like, I don't know, 6 years ago, it would not have looked as good. So it's literally just been trial and error for years. I don't have a web guy. I use Wix, and it's just, as far as layout, it's just all me doing that shit on there.
So what I'm hearing is it takes some time to know exactly what you want.
If you're not trained in that, it takes some time for sure. So nice. It was a total grassroots movement on the website front for me. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And something else about your website that I thought was pretty cool. You have the 35 like movie films pics that I see you take as well. Yeah. I just thought that was a really cool touch to be able just to add in like from my lens kind of thing. Yeah,
absolutely. I've been taking photos since like, I don't know, 2020, which like is not very long. I used to do it in high school at like a photography class, and that was like, it was high school.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just got into taking photos, and I don't consider myself a professional by any means, but it's just something I really enjoy doing. And doing like landscapes is kind of how it started. And then I've recently been moving into like street photography, which has really been like an exciting venture for me, because you never know what you're going to encounter, especially in like a big city. Like there's so many moments that are just divine, and you kind of have to wait to capture those moments.
Yes.
But like, I'm not technical at all. Like I really don't know like aperture settings and like ISOs. Like I'm still just like, so I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I put the roll of film in, and I just wait for the right moment, and hopefully it turns out good.
And they're pretty damn nice. They and it's such a unique kind of film as well. Like what made you get into that?
Meeting Nina, actually, because she's an art school grad, and she's always been into taking photos. And when we started traveling out west before we moved out there, we both just had our cameras by our side, and it just like became this like fun thing for us to do together, and
Nice.
Slowly developed over time. So
very cool.
Yeah, very cool. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Still a Kid in a Painted Sky, out now on all streaming platforms. This album is incredible. I want to shift gears here a little bit to something I saw you do this past summer. So tell me about the Wax Owls.
Oh yeah, the Wax
Tell me about
Boys.
this band.
Yeah. So how I got into Wax Owls, I met Jerry, who's the lead singer.
Okay.
Through BMI. So y'all familiar with BMI?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I reached out to BMI one day, and I was like, hey, I heard you guys set up songwriters that are affiliated with BMI with other songwriters just to like co-write and try to make something happen. So this was during the pandemic, like 2020, like deep pandemic. And then a rep at BMI got back to me for the first time in like, I don't know how many times I tried. And then finally they got back to me. And it was like, here you go, here's some options. Like, do you want to like co-write with any of these people? Let me know, and I'll set up a session for you. And I was like, oh yeah, like I like Jerry's songs a lot. So we got into a Zoom session together. The first song we wrote together was called Lilac Perfume, which I don't know if anyone will ever hear. It's a really funky, weird song about like love for. Never mind.
I need it now. I mean, nice.
But we kind of just like hit it off as buddies, and then he's lived in Los Angeles his whole life, and then when I moved out there, it was like like let's hang out, let's get some beers together, and then one thing just led to another, and then it was like, hey, I got my band, like we're playing some shows out. Do you want to play bass? Do you want to play guitar for us? Nice. So like the first show we played together was at the Mint in LA in Mid City, And then like a month later, it was like, hey, do you want to come up to Napa Valley and play Paste Magazine for Bottle Rock? And I was like, fuck yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah.
And I was like, and like, of course I'm there. And then it was like free weed and free wine all day. And it was just like the most amazing day ever. I felt like Sting, you know? And then it's, you know, it just snowballed from there. And then we went on tour this last summer. We played Bonnaroo. We played Peach Fest in Scranton. We played New York City. We did Jersey. And it was just like a great time. So, you know, they're just some homies and, you know, we're just doing the thing out in LA. So,
like, what was playing Bonnaroo like? Like, that's an incredible festival.
Yeah.
One of the biggest. It's like Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza, Coachella. Like, those are the three huge ones.
Yeah. To put it in a simple kind of cliche way, it was a dream come true. Like, absolutely. Like, everything to the T is like, you're getting carted around in golf carts. You have all the backstage access you could want. You're getting free shit. You're getting free barbecue. You get to see any band you want to see and be in the pit. Yeah, so like the first day we went there, we went on Friday and we got to see like the War on Drugs, and Nathaniel Ratliff, and then we played on Sunday, and it was just like this incredible feeling. It's like, damn, I've like, you know, been playing guitar for over 15 years and writing songs for how long and whatever, and it's like, oh wow, like that moment on stage is like, oh okay, this is all kind of starting to pay off a little bit.
Dude, it's fucking Bonnaroo. Like,
yeah,
that's really a dream, like you said, come true. And like, yeah, one of the biggest stages ever. Do you remember why stage you played at?
Why, who? It was the Who stage.
The Who stage, all right.
So it was one of the smaller stages, but still, it's like you get on that stage and it's, you know, the sound is great, and they just have like pros working the sound. And, you know, you're under this massive tent, and it was just a great time.
Nice.
You know.
So are you still like planning to like continue writing with the Wax Owls?
Absolutely. Yeah. We just we were in a writing session last week, and we're just like, you know, trying to create more. They just put out a new single like a couple weeks ago. And we're hoping for some more tours coming up. So, yeah.
I need to get out on one. I like dove in their Spotify a little bit, but I feel like there's some bands that you just gotta see live, and I feel like this is kind of one of those bands where
Absolutely.
I'm like, I gotta feel that energy on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a good time playing with those guys for sure.
Very cool, man. Yeah, that's an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, it's rad.
And then, all right, so more recently, let's continue with just new music, man. You just dropped a new single this past Friday called Passerby.
Yeah.
That song's about
funky.
Dude, I love how it just gets into it right away. There's no time messing around. Like as soon as you click play on it, you were just in it.
We didn't have any time to mess around. It was just like, let's just make a bop. So the story behind that is a couple of buddies of mine out in LA, Nick and Raul Hernandez, Nick Genjian. We were just like free one day, and it was like, yo, let's get together. They have a little studio, and they've got a tape machine, and they've got this like old crazy like Russian board with some like crazy preamps on there and some old ribbon microphones. So we're like, let's just like get in the studio and see what happens. And we laid down the drums, and we're like, okay, this groove is fat. And then we laid down the guitars, and we're like, okay, these guitars are fat. And then, you know, we take a little break. I smoke a little joint, and then I go back in, and I kind of just like improvise the vocals. We didn't know what we were going to write about that day. And it just turned into like this, I don't know, just this like Southern California, like, you know, smoke weed, cruise down the highway sort of song. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. It was just like recorded to tape, and then it just, you know, it's slammed. I was like, do I release this? Is it in line with my other stuff? But, you know, the more I listened to it, it was like, the song is, I like it. So I'm gonna put it out.
That bass is so clean coming through there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's one of my favorites, honestly.
Hell yeah. Appreciate that.
Will that song be on a future album, or for now is it just out there as a single and that's the plan?
It's almost like an experiment, you know, like because we had created it on a whim, and I just didn't really have a vision for it. We've done 2 other tracks. So what it's probably going to end up being is I'll let this one just like kind of like stew out there in the world for a little bit, see how it does. I might drop 2 more, that are kind of in line with that. So it'll be like a little EP sort of thing.
3 tracks
Yeah.
at that point.
Bada bang, club.
Yeah.
Kick ass, man. What are some artists that you are fond of, whether they are really big or the smallest of small, like out in LA, or that you've just come across?
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
So I'll do my Cleveland shout out here. And I just think, like he's kind of like the heart and soul of Cleveland music. It's Ray Flanagan. That dude just like, he just writes the truth and he's fucking good at it too. So like, I've always kind of like looked up to Ray as like, here's like a standard to meet. I just, every time he drops a new song or every time I see him out live, it's just like fuck yeah.
Dude, that's
Ray,
how I get every time I see him as well.
Ray just gets it. And for LA, oh God, who do I like out in LA? Oh, you know what? I got some homies, Moody and the Kid. I'm gonna give them a shout out.
Moody and the Kid?
Yeah, we go way back. They're also from Cleveland. We grew up here together. Nick, who is the Kid, we played in our first band together, Shred Rot, when we were in high school. So, and now we're out in LA. We're still like collaborating. I play for one of their singers, Stina, for her solo project. And they've just got some of the best vibes out there. So. That's kind of my LA shout out. And then who I've been listening to a lot recently that I didn't know about until recently is Drive-By Truckers. Are you guys familiar?
No.
Drive-By Truckers.
No. Tell me more.
Are you guys familiar with Jason Isbell?
I've heard the name, and if you played a few songs,
You
I
might
be like, oh, I've heard that, but I don't I couldn't be like, all right, here's this
I
song.
don't think I know him.
You might know a couple songs from Jason Isbell, but he was in the Drive-By Truckers from like 2001 to like 2007. And they're kind of like this like dirtbag country rock poet ensemble.
Okay.
Like it's gonna be one of those bands that maybe like you put on and you're either gonna be like, this sounds like shit, or you're gonna put it on and you're gonna be immediately like, wow, I get this. I get everything that they're doing. And that's kind of how it happened for me. Yeah. So yeah, I would say check out Drive-By Truckers. I'm really into their stuff right now.
So I got a question, I guess, about like who you listen to, because there's 2 artists in particular that I hear in the album.
Who do you hear?
So one, Jason Mraz.
Oh.
I don't know if that's like intentional or not, and I guess I hear it more like musically than lyrically.
Yeah, okay.
And then the other one is a lesser known artist, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Oh my God, people have told me that.
Well, it's particularly with like the vocal harmonies. The way you do it on that album is very similar to the way that they do it, and like just musically, like very similar. Like a lot of the same instruments and just like vibes.
Yeah, I've had a few people come to me recently with Toad the Wet Sprocket.
They're from LA too.
Yeah, like a buddy of mine just told me that a few months ago, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they fuck.
And then one of Nina's family members was also like, you remind me of that guy from Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Glenn Phillips.
And I'm like, I know one song from Toad the Wet Sprocket. And it's like, Down in the Ocean.
Yeah, Walk on the Ocean. That's great too.
So I vibe with it totally. No one's ever given me Jason Mraz before, but that's new. I do dig Jason Mraz for sure. I know his video guy out in LA. His name is Billy Galewood.
Okay.
And he is actually also from Cleveland. I think he's from Bedford Heights.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, every time we're on this show, we always talk about there's a Cleveland revolution happening and it's spreading out there into the US.
It is spreading.
Whether you know it, it's at your back door.
Yeah.
Cleveland is coming for you.
We're coming for you, baby. Hell yeah. Well, let's keep on. So what about venues? What are some venues that you are fond of, whether you've seen a show at or played at?
Well, I got to give a shout out to Coda here just because I'm doing my album release there. And that's just kind of felt like, like my stomping grounds as far as Cleveland goes. They've just always been homies about me doing whatever I want to do there. So Coda is.
I mean,
Coda's a
dude,
great spot.
like they are. I just saw you announce that they have drinks named after your songs. Getting ready for this
Yeah.
show. Like there's like a Driftin and then
Painted Sky.
Painted Sky is the other one. It's like
Yeah.
gin, gin, and then whiskey as well. And
Yeah.
dude, that's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah. They're the homies for sure. And then the rest of Cleveland. I mean, there's so many good venues here. You know, Mahal's, Beach and Ballroom, the Grog Shop. So yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of vibe you want for your show. But then out in LA, a good spot has been Little Joy on Sunset in Echo Park. That's been a really cool haunt to play. I'm playing the Silver Lake Lounge on September 23rd. That's a really cool, little beer joint. I like the LA has so many venues, right? And there's a lot of fancy club style venues out there, and I just it's not my thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I like the beer joints, like the place you can go and get if you can find a $5 Miller Lite in LA, which good luck finding a $5 Miller Lite.
Can go to Matt's house if you want that.
Yeah, I'll charge you $6.
yeah.
Charge you $6, but it's better than 7 or 8. Let me tell you. Yeah, so I really like both of those spots out in LA. And then the Hotel Cafe is a great place to showcase your songs as well. So those have been some of my favorite venues. And then I've never played any of these venues. It'll be the first time, but I'm doing a 4-date tour in October. It'll be Paso Robles, it'll be Monterey, it'll be Berkeley, and then San Francisco.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's Poorhouse, it's Sly McFly's, it's the Back Room in Berkeley, and then Amato's in San Francisco. And I'm just excited to get out there because I've never played out there before. So
yeah, and
talk about that for a second. How obviously it's not hard to imagine how you thought of it. You're I want to play some shows.
Yeah.
How do you get the ball rolling on setting that up, venue selection, all of that?
It's just a lot of emails is really all it is. You shoot out 100 emails and maybe you get 10 responses.
Okay.
And then you're gonna take whoever wants you essentially. So that's kind of how it worked out.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other side of it though, from a venue standpoint, they're looking for people to play. They hope for these emails to come through because brings a whole new crowd, obviously helps their business and just exposes them to you and then also to your fans as well.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I don't know, send a bunch of emails, I guess. Yeah.
Are you bringing a full crew to play with you, or is it just you? Or?
It'll be a trio. So me on guitar and vocals, and then bass and drums, and we're just gonna make it happen, trio style.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool, man. Yeah, man. You have so Matt brought his guitar for us today.
I did.
And I went in. He's offered to play us a couple tunes.
Yeah.
We would love to hear it.
Bust that out.
Yeah, bust that out. All right. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Moody.
All right. This song is called Driftin'. Over mountains and under valleys are defining moments in life. I've been wishing on a shooting star, but don't see an end in sight. Are bound to burn out over time until sooner or later you arrive. Rolling a spliff, I keep throwing big fits, but moaning won't conquer my fears. Lately I'm hit with a feeling like I should give in, but I keep pushing for next year. Over mountains and under valleys are defining moments in life. I've been wishing on a shooting star, but don't see an end in sight. And bright eyes are bound to burn out over time until sooner or later you arrive. Hours and hours, hours and hours, I'm tired of complaining. Ivory towers, hours and hours, hours and hours. I'm not gonna waste all of my power on drifting along, singing my song, believing that I can be free.
Yes, that was right.
Get it off! That was fucking rowdy, dude. Dude, your voice, you're able to hit those falsettos, unbelievable,
I was
man.
hypnotized.
Like, that's as real as it gets, people. Right fucking there. Right fucking there. Drifting, fuck yeah.
You want another beer?
Now
Let's do it. Let's do
All
another
right.
beer.
Yeah, get another beer.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna fill up really
Now I want
quick.
some whiskey after that drinking,
Drifting.
or drifting drink.
Yeah, I think it's like an old-fashioned type thing, you know.
Beautiful,
So,
man. How'd that idea come up? That's like just
for the drinks.
yeah, for the drinks. Like you approached them and were like, yeah, we want to make something off of this.
Actually, that is my. That is Hannah's idea. So
Okay.
Hannah Stack. She's kind of like acting as like my official, unofficial marketer for this show.
Nice.
So like she works in marketing and event promotion for a living. So it was just kind of like a no-brainer. I was like, please help me come with some ideas for this. So that was all her.
And it's genius. Like it's just such a different marketing tool, and it's very, very unique. So that was kick ass.
That's crazy hearing that live, like 3 feet away.
That was fucking sick.
That was. All right, you want to do one more for us?
Let's do one more.
All right,
What do you guys want to hear?
clap.
So I would say Shadows in the Valley, but we don't have like the keys
Party in the Valley?
and all that. Yeah,
I can still do Party. Let's do a fucking Party in the Valley.
we could do that one.
Party in the Valley.
Yeah.
Party in Spruce
Party in the Valley.
Studios. We want to hear it.
All right.
He wanted you to do Shadows in the Valley, a little mixture of both.
Yeah, I can do that.
No, Shadows is a song that comes right after.
All right, well here it is. Party in the Valley, Matt Moody.
When I wake up in the morning, every part of me's dead. Pull me out of bed, fix my coffee, hit the lighter and roll over again. Is it ever gonna end? Well, there's wind blowing in my hair, flowers on the guardrails, sometimes feeling innocent. Mona Lisa in a bed, pick me up and drop me off. I can never learn to bend, but I'm softly. I've been in a spell, feeling overwhelmed, drowning in the light. It's alright, it's alright. Well, I guess I should get over myself. It's not like you can help quick when there's a party in the valley I think we should attend. They said to bring your friends, well, I still ignore the signs. Mad about the candlelight, tell me I'm not acting right. Speeding on a stormy night, tears falling into rain, something to disguise the pain, till there's nothing left to face. I've been in a spell, feeling overwhelmed, drowning in the light. It's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
man.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about with the live performances and having to see this shit live. Like that, the whole different energy and like to see
different.
it. I mean, just to see you be able to like hit those falsetto notes and to be able to do like it's just so crazy to hear a song stripped down like that. Like Club said, it's like we can't do it with piano. We can fucking do it right here.
Well, I didn't mean we can't do it. Clearly.
Clearly, indeed, man. Well, fuck, I appreciate you doing that. That was seriously so cool to be able to hear.
No, that just reminded me. It's like, have either of you two heard of the band City and Color?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they are like, their studio stuff sounds amazing, but if you ever see that band live, like Dallas Green, it's just like, you're just like, whoa. And I felt like that just happened to me. Like, I listened to the whole album like before we did this, and then I just heard those two songs like live and was just like, whoa.
You floored my partner here.
Yeah, I couldn't stay in my seat.
Yeah, me neither, man. Well, fuck, that was awesome. That was awesome. Again, Matt Moody, I appreciate you very much for doing that. But we can't let you out with just that. We can't let you out on that. There's always an encore.
Okay.
And it's not going to involve your guitar. It's
All
going
right.
to involve a story from your past. So
Sure.
we ask
Okay.
every guest this to finish it off.
Uh-huh.
And the simplest way to put it is, what is your most memorable concert experience? But
As an attendee, or
Anything.
So-
Attendee, you
so-
were playing.
yeah, and I like to dive in a little bit more because this is where we get the brains really thinking. What is the strangest, most bizarre, unique thing that you've either seen happen at a show, or the artist, a fan, or something that has happened to you on stage, or anything that comes to mind? And you could have multiple responses as well, where you're just like, what the fuck was that? Or holy shit.
Okay, so most memorable, and then just crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Let's do it like that.
Okay, most memorable. Well, how about I give you my most memorable as an attendee, and my most memorable as a performer.
Beautiful. I love it.
So most memorable as an attendee, I gotta give it to Lollapalooza 2016, the Radiohead set. I think they had just released Moonshaped Pool, and they came out with Burn the Witch, and I was completely sober that whole set, and I swear to God, changed my life. That was one of those like out of body musical experiences of just like, you know, that was my first time seeing Radiohead too, and I've always been a big Radiohead fan, and it changed my perspective on like approach to what I'm doing and as a performer and an artist, and I'll never forget that performance. It really motivated me to bring things to a new level. So, and then as a performer, oh gosh, I mean, one of the best shows I've had was 2018. We did a release for an album that is no longer online, but if you want a link, I can send it to you. But we did it at Coda, and it was just, you know, the whole community showed up, and it was just one of those like, you know, why do you go to see live music? It's to be completely immersed in the moment, to forget everything outside of what is happening right now, and I just remember that being one of those moments, and the same deal with Radiohead. Whether you're a performer or an attendee, if it's right, if the vibe is right, if the energy is there, it kind of all merges into one. You become one entity as opposed to like separate beings.
That was very well spoken. Yeah.
So that's kind of what you look for, what you hope for, I guess. And then the weirdest.
Get your brain thinking a little bit. What have I seen in my days?
I don't know. I mean, I've played some weird gigs, man. There's nothing super popping out to me. Like, I've never had like anyone like tackle me on stage or anything.
Or it could have been like you seen a concert as well. If you...
well, I do remember one time. I think this might have been in the Shred Rot days when I was doing that. there were a pair of panties that just appeared on stage. I don't know where they came from, but they were red and it looked a little questionable. And I was like, you know, I was about like 18 or 19 and I was like, fuck yeah.
That's I made it, mama.
Yeah, I've made it, you know. That was one of them, and then, you know, I've had some like various like strange encounters with just like, you know, you play music and you meet some weirdos. It's kind of just like comes with the territories. So I don't know that I guess that's my strange one though. But maybe it's not that strange. It's maybe more strange nowadays than it was in like the 70s.
Yeah, honestly.
60s. So
that's still pretty cool. You're 18 or 19 and get some panties thrown up on stage. Like, hell yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, overall, man, again, we cannot thank you enough for swinging by the studio
Thank you so
to
much
talk
for
with
having
us.
me.
Again, the first guest that we've had play live, the first time Cup and I have been in the same room together to do one of these.
Wow,
We got to give
first.
a shout out as well to City Lights Entertainment for providing all the video for today. Shout out to them, check them out. And but overall, more so, check out Matt Moody again on Spotify. This shit slaps. And we'll be looking forward to hopefully some more music coming out soon here.
Hell yeah, man. I got some more coming down the line. So
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
We'll be
guys.
following.
Yeah, we love to hear it. All right. Well, besides that, my name is Spruce.
I'm Clef.
And this has been another episode of